All right. Hello, second hour. Let's give it up for Writers Week 32. Woo! First, I have to send a quick shout out to my second hour up there with Mr. Feldberg. Hey, guys. Woo! Also, just want to send some thank yous to begin. The Viking Boosters, whom a lot of your parents are part of, so please go home and thank them for supporting Writers Week. The Fremd administration, faculty, the Fremd English department, especially Mrs. Ank and Mr. Anderson.
This is Mabel.
Woo! Side note, also that. Also, all the wonderful students here, you guys, just for making Writers Week what it is. Let's just give it up for everyone. So, also, let's talk about making Writers Week happen. I have the pleasure right now to introduce our next two guests who are the founders of Writers Week and making it all happen. Mr. Gary Anderson and Tony Romano. They are beloved former Fremd English teachers. I think we have a picture of them behind me up there, just making magic happen in that picture. And were instrumental in establishing Writers Week at Fremd in 1995. Since then, over 1,000 Fremd students, faculty members from every department, and more than 250 professional writers from around the world have presented on this Writers Week stage. I'm so excited to have them back here. Afterwards, please feel free to come up and say hi to them and purchase some merch. Tony Romano will have some CDs up here for sale for $5, and we still have lots of Writers Week books as well to purchase. So please join me in welcoming Gary Anderson and Tony Romano.
All right, well, thank you for inviting us and letting us come back here and do whatever we're going to do for the next few minutes. It's geezer hour, so that's kind of a cause for celebration, isn't it? Would you like to guess how old I am? 25. I'll give you a hint. You got it. So it's always kind of semi-amazing to me that I've spent a fair amount of my adult life in high schools, and I still spend a lot of time in high schools, because when I was in actual high school, I didn't do it very well. I think my teachers liked me, though, because they didn't have to grade my homework because I didn't do it. And because I didn't ever study for tests or anything, I did badly on grades, and so they could have a nice bell curve. And there were a lot of days I just didn't go. And so they didn't have to deal with, my bad attitude that I had at that time. I'm not recommending this as a way to go through high school. In fact, I would recommend against it. But that's just kind of the way I was. Another thing that was part of this is I never read the books in high school, with one exception, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But one of the blessings of my life is that my dad was a reader. So there were books at our house. One of the books that was laying around, and I just picked it up and liked it, was a book entitled To Kill a Mockingbird. Some of you have maybe read that book. I picked it up in the mid-'60s, 5th or 6th grade, had nothing to do with school. I read that book, and I really liked it. The kids in there, I kind of liked them, and I liked the way they talked. The book was a little bit naughty in places, and that appealed to me. And the social justice themes in that book kind of spoke to my youthful idealism. So that's a book that meant something to me. When I was in high school, like I said, I didn't read the books. But in 10th grade, there was a teacher, there was an elective called science fiction. And I took a science fiction elective when I was in 10th grade. The teacher's name, she was a lovely young teacher. Her name was, of all things, Miss Mount. And she had us read The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury. And she made it sound appealing and interesting, so I read it, and again, I really liked it. It's a book about life on Mars. Anybody read that book? Yeah, it's kind of gotten lost, but it's really good, or I think so anyway. It was about life on Mars and how that reflects on life on Earth. And Miss Mount was a good teacher, so I learned some things about literature and how literature works. And I became a better reader because of Miss Mount and Ray Bradbury's The Martian Chronicles. And then I went back to not reading the books. In college, I tried harder. I read the books. I was an English major, and I was kind of behind because of how I handled high school. But in addition to the books that we had to read in class, I was always reading something on my own. And there was a book entitled Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. It's a really funny, nobody's read that book, right? Oh, there is one. You could probably guess who it is, too. But there's been two movie versions, one with Johnny Depp, one with Bill Murray. And it's just this funny book about these crazy guys doing wild things. And it was the 70s, so maybe we'll just let it go at that, okay? But I read that book, and all my friends read that book, and we quoted from it constantly, and we used the artwork from that book as graffiti in our dorms, and we had T-shirts designed of it. So there's like this little community that built up around this book. And so that book came to mean something to me too, because of the community that built up around it. Now let's flash forward a few years. I try not to have much room in my life for hate, but I make room to hate cancer. Cancer has touched my life too many times in too many ways. But in 2012, a guy by the name of John Green wrote a book entitled The Fault in Our Stars. Anybody read that one? Yeah, there's a few, okay. The Fault in Our Stars is about two kids with cancer who meet and fall in love in their cancer support group. And even though I still hate cancer, that book kind of showed me anyway, how to live with hope in a world where bad things like cancer exist. And so that book was still very, very meaningful to me. And so if somebody says, so tell me about a book that meant something to you, I would have to say, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Martian Chronicles, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and The Fault in Our Stars. And there's probably not another person on this planet who would say those same four books, right? And that's a good thing. People vary, and that's a good thing. But it makes me wonder if there are any books that have meant something to you. So, would you just take a moment and lean over to somebody sitting by you, in front of you, or behind you, and tell them about a book that has meant something to you, whether it was Go Dog Go, or Skippy John Jones, or Hungry Caterpillar, something you read more recently, but do it. Go, tell. Okay, bring it back. If you want to tell me later about what your book was, I would really like to hear it, but my wish for you is that you have a long, long reading life. If I didn't read something out of a book each day, I think, part of my soul would die. And I think also that every book we read changes us a little bit for the better. I want to say, too, that I think it's important that you read whatever you want. You have to read what you have to read for school, and that's okay, because it teaches you to be a better reader. You've got really good teachers, English teachers here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this room right now, right? And they can help you become better readers. But you should also read whatever you want. If you like vampire books or books about sports or, I don't know, how to do your makeup or whatever, just read whatever you want. Just keep going on it. The other thing is, a lot of times people will tell you what you should read. And I'm here to tell you, there's no such thing as a must read. You heard that phrase before, must read? There's no such thing. Must read means if you don't read it, you'll die. And I've tested that theory many times. It's not true. So there's no such thing as a must read. Read whatever you want. Also, sometimes people feel a little self-conscious about being a slow reader. I'm a slow reader. Anybody else a slow reader? Wave to me. Look at y'all. Yeah. It doesn't matter. In school, you have to read a certain amount within a certain time. That's just kind of how things work, and that's okay. It can help you develop your reading in certain ways. But in the real world, It doesn't matter how long it takes you to read a book, right? It doesn't matter. So take as long as you want. I'm pretty bad at conclusions, so that's kind of the main things that I wanted to say about reading here today. Unless there's any questions, thank you for listening to that. Now I want to turn and tell a little bit about this guy. This is an amazing human being up here. Amazing teacher, amazing father, grandfather, son, husband, brother, cousin, and to me, friend. He published several books. His picture's on the wall out there, right? He was author of the year a few years ago. And now you see the guitar. He's got an album out now. And song, you know what song is on my Spotify playlist? You want to guess?
Too Much No Good?
Nope. Well, that one, yeah, there's two. That one and Teach Me to Dance. So anyway, the first thing that Tony's going to do involves a Gwendolyn Brooks poem. And he asked me to set this up a little bit. So, who's Gwendolyn Brooks? Gwendolyn Brooks is one of the most important American poets of all time. She was the first black American to win a Pulitzer Prize. She was the first woman to win a Pulitzer Prize. She was the first poet laureate of the United States. They didn't call it that at that time, but that's what it is. She was Illinois Poet Laureate, and we were privileged to have her as a Writers' Week guest in 1996 and 1998. There's some people in this room right now who were here then and saw her. The principal at the time introduced her, and he said all this stuff, a long list of accomplishments and what this president said about her and all that. And then she came up here to the podium. She had this funky little hat on, purple flowery dress. She was 77 years old at the time. And she said, all that stuff is very nice, but we'll all be okay if we remember one thing. Everybody goes to the bathroom. And all 600 people in this room immediately fell in love. And then she started her presentation, and she was just electrifying. I thought the wallpaper was going to come off and these weird things on the ceiling were going to fall down. She was so just charismatic. Gwendolyn Brooks' most well-known poem is something called We Real Cool. And it's about these kids at a pool hall. I taught that poem many, many times before I ever met her, but I never really understood it until she stood about right here and said that poem. So Tony's first thing is going to involve this poem, We Real Cool, and I'm going to try to say this poem right now without butchering it, okay? Think good thoughts for me right now. We real cool, the pool players, 7 at the Golden Shovel. We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we fin gin, we die soon. Please welcome Tony Romano.
Good morning. They let you two in here?
All right. Now without ID.
What year did you graduate?
97.
97. And? Both 97? Okay. Doing all right? Thanks for those kind words, Gary. I don't know if you know this, but after Gary and I retired, Writers' Week didn't have to continue. It's not like a football coach where the coach retires and they hire another coach. If 2 people hadn't stepped up to keep this going, it would not have kept going. So please give a hand to Russ Anderson and Gina Anker. Many hours spent. After this week is over, tomorrow they're going to rest a little bit, and maybe Sunday they'll rest a little bit, but Monday they're already going to start thinking about next year, because that's how their brains think. I really miss this place. And one of the things I miss about it, just a small thing, is when students used to walk into class, I used to have music going. And if a student recognized my music, Crosby, Stills, and Nash or whatever, I was always excited and that they were listening. And I think music always sounded better in class because you only have a limited time to listen to it. Then you have to get back, you have to get down to the work. And I think that's a good metaphor for life. We're not here for that long, so we need to appreciate it while we're here. This is, can you go to the next slide, please, Russ? This is where 4 players at the Golden Shovel replied to Gwendolyn Brooks' poem. It has a little bit of attitude, but I think she would have enjoyed it. Can you hear that? I will never die. Wreck night, I race round, I take ground, I kick school, I sing cool, I spit fire, I will rise high. Watch me rise high, watch me rise. I will rise high, watch me rise. I don't know your name or why you came to trash talk my guys, and you think you know me, but only see we. You don't know my side, so go back where you came. Don't know your name. Go back where you came. Go back where you came. Go back where you came. I love the word we, where I can be free. 6 guys on my side. There's Rook, Leon and Cal, Jay and Montel, and some big new guy. Yeah, we like to shoot pool, no time for school. 'Cause we're on the run. We are real young. Nothing wrong with being on the run. I do talk tough, I ain't rough, I roam round, I lose ground, I escape soon, I leap moon, I crave home, stand alone. Take that, Miss Brooks. I think she would have been okay with that, right? I think she'd be all right. Yeah, she likes sass. She had a little sass. By the way, those CDs that I'm selling, all the proceeds will go to Writers Week, so I'd feel uncomfortable making any profit here. So please come up and support Writers Week. Even if you don't want a CD, support Writers Week. Right? Well, I remember Sunday drives with my old man, the dreamy look in his eyes, 'cause I was his only fan. No place to go, felt like our destiny. His El Dorado full and no one not even me. With Johnny Cash on the radio, we would sing along. Under a bright and mournful moon, make it our own damn song. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this town. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this town. He never drank when I was with him, far as I could tell. Mama told him if he did, he'd catch some hell. And never worked a job where he had to punch a clock. He knew he'd speak his mind and soon get docked. Said the haves are sitting shotgun, can't catch a break. You bend, bow, say yes sir, all they do is take. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this town. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this town. All week I'd be numb, would Sunday ever come? He'd take me home, he lost custody. I counted days longing for his company. I wanted him to fight, keep me by his side. But he knew that he would fail, he had his pride. Though we didn't share soft words on our Sunday drives, I've never felt more safe and loved or as alive. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this town. Nothing to hold us down, we were bigger than this damn town. How I miss those Sunday drives with my old man. Thank you so much. That dad in there is fictional. We didn't even own a car, and my dad was not a drinker. But somehow, it's still my dad. I don't know how to explain that. There's still some emotion there. And hopefully when you listen to songs, that you do the same thing, where it's not about your dad or your mom or whoever, but you make it your own somehow. You know, one of the regrets I have is I wish I had started writing sooner. I started writing songs after I retired. And he used to go around the house whistling all day, and I would have loved to hear him whistling some of my songs. It would have been a real treat for me. You still doing all right? Can I play another song? Okay. See capo 3? We got it. Some say, no, that's not it. Some say no such thing as simpler days. Give me a minute and I'll count the ways. We shared a table every night. No one hurried, savored every bite. Ate at home every chance we got. Produce man every week. Drove his truck right to our street. Took home all the things we got. Memories coated with silver dust. Even then I knew that I must hang on to that silver dust. TV shows in black and white. Bozo Circus live on Channel 9. watched it every chance we got. Drag TVs out summer nights, in backyards, man, watch the fights. We'd relish this slow time we got. Memories coated with silver dust. Even then I knew that I must hang on to that silver dust. No adults anywhere. Supervision was something rare. We got by with the things we got. We took the bus everywhere. Reached Lakeshore Drive on a nickel's fare. Sat in back every chance we got. Memories coated with silver dust. Even then I knew that I must hang on to that silver dust. We shared a table every night. No one hurried. Savored every bite. Savored every bite. Savored every bite. And we ate at home every chance we got. Gotta hang on to that silver dust. Thank you. Still doing all right? Okay. How am I doing? How am I doing, Gary? You're doing fantastic. I put these little quotes in between. I meant to turn around and read them, but have you been reading them? Yeah. Okay, good. Let's read this one together. We can never overestimate the good that comes from artistic communication. When we touch one another through music, we are touching the heart, the mind, and the spirit all at once. Leonard Bernstein. I think he kind of knew what he was talking about. What's the next slide, Russ? Okay. This is why I'm sitting down, because I'm finger picking, and I'm not very good at finger picking, so I'm going to do my best here. I've searched high and I've searched low, poked around, still don't know what became of the world that we once knew. Everybody used to have a shot, was more a dream but meant to lie. What became of the dream we once knew? If you were down, we helped you out, lent a hand what we were all about. What became of goodwill we once knew? How to keep my head up high, my grandsons looking up to me. Gotta give them what they need, 'cause their light will be my legacy. What they see will be my legacy. Their hope, my legacy. Da 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 da. I came here at the age of 1. Freedom's in my blood. What became of that gift we once knew? To the stars we're all the same. no matter from where we came. What became of the hope we once knew? How to keep my head up high, my grandsons looking up to me. Gotta give them what they need, 'cause their life will be my legacy. What they see will be my legacy. Their hope, my legacy. Da, da, da. I cry, see so much good in around my neighborhood. Kindness reigns as it should. Be the light, it's up to me and you. Be the light, it's up to me and you. Be the light, it's up to me and you. What became of the world we once knew? Can you go to the next slide? It's the artists of the world, the feelers and thinkers, who ultimately will save us, who can articulate, educate, defy, insist, sing and shout the big dreams. And then I'm going to ask my good friend Gary to read a poem by Miller Williams, who stood here in a different year than Gwendolyn Brooks, and he read this poem. Kind of matches the song, I think.
Just happen to have a copy of it in my pocket. Title is Compassion by Miller Williams. Have compassion for everyone you meet, even if they don't want it. What seems conceit, bad manners, or cynicism is always a sign of things no ears have heard, no eyes have seen. You do not know what wars are going on down there, where the spirit meets the bone.
Thanks, Gary. I had Gary read that because everything Gary reads sounds better. I want to echo some of the things he said. Just been a good friend all these years, and we just had fun planning this year after year after year. Good family man. He knows BS when he sees it, and he calls it out. I think that's one of his best qualities, I think. I'm going to invite one of my good friends, Sabra Gerber, to come up. It's a little weird, you standing in my city, but maybe if you move away a little bit. Is that a little weird? It is a little weird, but
We'll manage.
you know what? I can stand up for this.
No, you're good. Is he good? He's good. Yeah, he's good.
Okay, this is a song on the album. The other four songs were not. So if you want to hear this one again, or you can go to Spotify or whatever music streaming service you listen to. We should take a poll about that, huh? Ready, Sabra?
Ready, Tony?
Got to get Sabra up here. It's been a kind of a tradition, right?
Great.
I want to give you the sun and moon. Maybe we'll chase them this afternoon. 'Cause you light my sky. You're the reason why time feels wide and full on days with you. First time I held you was like a dream. Loveliest baby I'd ever seen. Yeah, you light my sky. You're the reason why time feels wide
and full.
I love days with you. You run so fast now.
Run so
Can't keep
fast.
up with you. But please don't slow down.
Don't slow down.
So much to do. 10,000 questions you ask of me. I know so little. One certainty that you light my sky. And you're the reason why time feels wide and full. I love days with you. Time's slipping faster, sun's sinking low. I move more slowly, I think you know. But you light my sky. You're the reason why time feels right and full. I love days with you. I love days with you. You run so fast
Run
now.
so
I love
fast.
days with you. You run so fast now. I love days with you. My days with you. Love my days with you. We're here for Sabra again. All right, we have a few minutes for questions, and we can impart our elderly wisdom on you. I swear, I feel like 16 sometimes. I haven't learned anything. It's just kind of... Yes, in the front, the two graduates. You have a question?
What was your favorite Writers Week memory?
Oh, I think when we picked up Miller Williams, who wrote Compassion, we picked him up from a hotel, or he was doing something downtown. We brought him back, and he gave us like a poetry lecture. He just went on and on. He just talked. It was wonderful. And then we brought him to his hotel, and he didn't want to leave here. He was just looking around. You could tell he was really energized by you guys. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, he, like his first poem, he fumbled, and he said, "It's your fault. You're all so beautiful that I messed up." That was his line. I'm not sure I could pick one. It's what it has to do with, though, is the courage of the students. You know, coming up here and saying some of the things that have been, the courage to come up here at all. No, even back up. The courage to even face some things, and then the courage to write about them, and then the courage to stand up here in front of a bunch of people and say them. That courage is my favorite thing, I think.
Yeah, there would be no Writers Week without you guys. We just wanted a way to showcase your work more than anything. I know that sounds like something teachers say, but it was clearly true, because we were doing these poetry slams, and you guys were getting up here and doing it, and we thought, we only do poetry slams like once or twice, 3 times a year, so we wanted a more concentrated way of highlighting your work.
What else?
Go ahead, whoever. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, yeah. What's the hardest part about getting Writers Week started? We started with a budget of $200, and we had to beg writers to come. And these writers, this is their living. So when they come in here, we wanted to pay them well. So that was always a challenge. Every year, you had to scratch your head. How are we going to pay for this? And the boosters stepped up really big time, and that's why you should buy a CD.
Another hard thing was entropy. It's always easier to not do something than to do something, at least systematically and programmatically. So talking people into doing stuff and doing it voluntarily, at first it was kind of hard, because people, and now it's kind of a default. It's still hard work, but it's a default. And when we were inventing this, it was not a default at all. It was pushing a rock up the hill, and then it'd fall back down. You push it up again the next year.
I like the word inventing. I never thought of myself as an inventor, but I like it. You had, oh yeah, go ahead.
How'd you meet Miss Gerber?
How did what?
How'd you meet Miss Gerber?
How to meet Miss Gerber? Well, it was in this bar back in the late 80s, and she looked like she was really down on her luck, and I just said, hey, you want a job? No, we just met at work, and it was just immediate. I think we met, and we became immediate friends, I think.
Yeah, Tony was my immediate mentor. Like, still is.
In my case, I met her, I was department chair of this joint for a while, and so part of my job was trying to find really good new teachers. And when I met Sabra Gerber, it's like, I can't let this one get away, and she's made me look like a genius every day since.
Yeah, go ahead. Singer-songwriters that inspired, yeah, the Beatles, Jackson Brown, a lot of names you wouldn't have heard of probably, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and Young. Who do you listen to?
Oh,
Johnny Cash.
yeah, Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen is a real big deal for me, and I would encourage you to look up somebody named Maggie Rose. Maggie Rose, if you don't know Maggie Rose.
But there's always new people. There are 1,000 names. Go ahead.
Oh, similar question. You mentioned 4 books that kind of influenced your life. What are some books that influenced your life?
I would probably put The Grapes of Wrath on my list. Maybe Underworld by Don DeLillo. I've read just about everything by Philip Roth. And lately, there's so many good female writers I've been reading. And if I can just think of one, Maggie Shipstead. Grapes of Wrath, though, it's hard to beat that.
We have another one down here in front. Go ahead.
When writing music, do you keep in mind how you want to sing it while writing it, or you just write it and then think about how you want to sing it?
Well, my process is usually I come up with 2 chords that I seem to like, and I record them, and I take a walk. And walking is so productive. And I just read something that there's scientific proof that there's a part of your brain that shuts off while you walk, and it's the part of your brain that's like the sensor, the thinking part, the external part. So when you walk, you're more open to daydreaming. So I'll just think of words that go along with the chords that I've recorded on my phone, and then I'll come back home and I'll see what it sounds like actually playing them, and just go through the whole process again and back and forth. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's what I do.
Okay, you guys got to get out of here. Thanks for being so awesome.
Thank you.